Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Premier Perspective. Today we are here to give our round of 16 Euro 2020 predictions. A lot of great games, a lot to talk about. And yeah, let's just start off with the first games. These games will be on Saturday. Wales versus Denmark and Italy versus Austria. Now, Wales versus Denmark is an interesting game. Wales had, I guess you could say, an overachieving group stage because I know we didn't predict them. I don't think we did to do as
No,
well as they
I think we
did.
predicted them last in the group. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And then a Denmark team who only won the last game, but played well the whole time. I would say in this game, I am actually, even though they're a third place team, leaning towards Denmark. But what are you thinking about this game?
I'm thinking Denmark and Denmark were actually the second place team in the group. They
Oh,
they
yeah,
only
they
had three.
did.
They
Oh,
only
yeah, you're
had
right. You're
all the
right.
the bottom three, the
Only had three
second, third,
points.
and fourth. They
Yes.
only had 3 points, but Denmark had a positive goal differential. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
were able to.
Because of
So
that
they were
big
able to
win.
get. Yeah. So they
Yeah.
were able to get second in the group actually. But either way, I still back Denmark to go through. Wales definitely played a little bit better than I thought they
Hmm.
would, but they didn't have too difficult of a group, to be fair. But Denmark and I know didn't have a crazy difficult group either, other than Belgium, but they played exceptional, especially in that last game. So I definitely backed Belgium, not Belgium, Denmark,
Yeah.
to go through here. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Next up, also on Saturday, is Italy versus Austria. Great game. Be interesting to see how good Italy can be. I thought they were absolutely exceptional in
They were.
their three group stage games, but then again, I don't feel like they played anyone who was great.
I agree.
So
Without
it
it.
would be interesting to see how it goes on. I mean, I don't know how much of a challenge Austria would be, but I have a lot of, I would say, high hopes for Italy going into this round.
Yeah, and Austria is a fighting team, and I think we'll give Italy a little bit of a challenge. They're definitely probably the most difficult opponent Italy will have faced so far in the tournament, but
Hmm.
Italy have looked exceptional despite not playing the top level opposition, but
Yeah,
they've looked great throughout the whole tournament.
yeah, for sure. And looking at that game, I think we could both say Italy, Austria. But what's great is now the game on Sunday, which is Belgium versus Portugal,
That'll be a
which
crazy game.
obviously there are other good games like the England versus Germany and Croatia versus Spain. But for me, I'm looking most forward to this Belgium versus Portugal game.
I am as
I
well.
think it's going to
Yeah,
be great. I think to see like Belgium has been playing really well with De Bruyne and Lukaku both having amazing tournaments so far. And then Portugal, who was in the group of death. So it's obviously understandable that they maybe weren't the best, but they have Ronaldo, and Ronaldo's always going to be a game changer. So it'll be interesting to see. I have a slight edge towards Belgium. I think they've been playing better, but then again, the level opposition is not the same. But I'm still gonna lean slightly towards Belgium.
yeah, and I definitely lean towards Belgium as well. As for the group of death, I'd love to see all three of the teams, all
Mhm.
France, Germany, and Portugal in that order, get out of the group. Because they definitely deserve to. They were in Hungary,
Yeah.
put up a good fight, but they had
Hungary
no
did
chance in
put up a
that.
great fight. I was talking to my dad yesterday, and I was telling him that I think that if Hungary were in like any other group, that they
I
probably would have
that's what I
passed
was
to
thinking as
this.
well.
They would have passed it playing like that. They were great.
Oh, I totally agree. If they
To
were to
get
be put in,
points from both France and Germany,
that's
like
incredible
it's
for
great.
Hungary.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but in this game in Belgium, Portugal do have Ronaldo. They have Bruno Fernandes. They
mhm,
have, and on paper they have the names, but they've had trouble finishing in this tournament. I mean, they relied
yeah,
on, uh, correct me if I'm wrong, but two penalties the other day
yeah.
against France. So uh, one of them kind of an iffy one. So
Hmm.
either way, they're pens, and you're not scoring actual goals. And with Ronaldo and the personnel that you have up there, but then Belgium, on the other hand, they've played incredible. I mean, that one win against Russia, they played great just as a team. And even
Hmm.
if they again they didn't play against France and Germany like Portugal had to.
Hmm.
They still played incredible, and they
Yeah,
completely
great
dismantled these
football.
teams. And you could tell that Belgium was obviously the better team in all of these
Yeah.
games.
So yeah, we both have Belgium, leaning towards Portugal, which would then lead to the next game, which is Netherlands versus Czech Republic. which I think is the game that I probably have the least to say about. Czech Republic, while they did manage to get out of the group, um, I don't think that they're gonna be putting too much competition towards Netherlands, who I think have been great so far in this tournament with, I believe, 9 points, right? 9 out of 9
Yeah,
points.
yeah, 9 out of 9.
So I think Netherlands is gonna be able to win this game without a problem.
Yeah, and as for me, Netherlands, you guys already know
Hmm.
my country, and of course back them to beat Czech Republic, who played well in that one game. I think it was
Hmm.
Scotland, but other than that, we're very average throughout
Yeah.
their group stage. But even so, about Netherlands, because obviously I think they're going to win this game and go through. And if you look at who they'd be playing in the quarters,
Hmm.
it would be the winner of Wales and Denmark. So it should be Netherlands to the semis if they
Yes.
play like they've been playing, even though
Yeah.
they had a scare against Ukraine.
If they keep up the form that they're in, and obviously that game against Ukraine, people talk about it was the first game of the Euro. So obviously, if form will pick up, but I'm personally thinking that, like you just said right now, that Netherlands should have no problem going to the semis.
Yeah, and for Netherlands, a lot of people were like, they were saying, "Oh, but they don't have Van Dijk. They don't have good enough defense."
Hmm.
And that's while that matters, you still have talented defenders back there on the international level,
Yeah.
and you have a very well-rounded team. There, if you look at Memphis Depay and Gini Wijnaldum, who are both having incredible tournaments, while their back line might not be full strength as it should
Hmm.
be, thanks to injuries, they're still an incredible team, and you can't take away from that. They're still a very full team, and they've showed that in the group stage.
Yeah, for sure. So for that game, I would say that we both agree that Netherlands are going to pass. Moving on to Monday's games, we have Croatia versus Spain and France versus Switzerland. France versus Switzerland. I'm just gonna say, obviously, I think France is gonna win. Now, I'm saying obviously, I don't mean any disrespect towards Switzerland, but I just don't see a scenario in which France lose that game. Obviously, they tied against Hungary. They tied against Portugal. They only got 5 points, but I still just don't see a scenario in which they lose that game. So I'm going with France beating
Yeah,
Switzerland.
and me too, especially Switzerland. I think Netherlands game is the one you had the least to say about. I think this is the one I have the least to say about. Switzerland look generally poor for the
Yeah.
players that they have. We for you forget because they're not one of the big
Hmm.
super the giants in the international game, but
Yeah.
they still have Shaqiri and they still have the defensive personnel. They have Mbabu, who's on the come up in Bundesliga,
Hmm.
and they have all these incredible players in their respective leagues, but they haven't done anything together. They're
Yeah.
kind of like uh, almost Spain like in this sense.
Yeah. And I
We'll
think
get to Spain later, but Switzerland were pretty, even though they got out of the group just as a third place team barely. I thought they were that with pretty poor in
Yeah,
general.
I mean, if you really think about it, I don't think Switzerland played that well. Their 3 points, their only win came against Turkey, who you could argue was probably, if not the worst, one of the worst teams in the Euros. So it's just, I don't know. I just don't see anything coming out of Switzerland. So I got France winning this game. And then the other game on Monday, we have Croatia versus Spain, which I think right now, looking at all the games, is the only one that I'm questioning who I think will win. Um, the
Yeah, I
reason
don't know.
why, the reason why is because of Spain's lack of goal scoring ability, but then again, they scored 5 goals in their last game. So it's just a difficult scenario. But I don't know. I just don't see a clear winner because
Neither do I.
Croatia have been good, but not really that good either. Like I feel like both teams like are not playing to the level that they could be playing at. So I just don't know. I guess if anything, I'd lean a little bit towards Spain, but
I would too, just
I
a little bit.
just a
It's
like barely, yeah. It's just very minimal, but I don't this one I can say that I genuinely don't know, but I will to give an answer, I'll say Spain.
yeah. I don't have too much to say about
Hmm.
this one either. I don't know. I would say yeah, same as you.
Yeah.
To give an answer, Spain, but yeah, I
Yeah.
both teams have been
Mhm.
not performing to their highest level in this tournament.
For sure. And then moving on to the last two games, which will be taking place on Tuesday, we have Sweden versus Ukraine and England versus Germany. Sweden, Ukraine. It'll be interesting to see not only who wins this game, but to know that whoever wins this game is going to be in the final 8 of the Euros. And these are two
Mhm.
teams that you wouldn't expect to see in this position, but in the way it worked out, that's that's how the cookie crumbled. And I would say Sweden's going to win this game. I thought they've been playing pretty decent football, and Ukraine, I haven't really seen anything too convincing from them. Obviously, they did put a good performance against the Netherlands, but lost. And then they lost to Austria as well. So they only had the one win, and it was against North Macedonia.
Right. And
So how good are Ukraine really?
yeah, they weren't too promising
Yeah.
for me.
And I think Sweden have been not great, but decent, or I would say better than what Ukraine have done. So for that reason, I'm leaning towards Sweden.
I'd say Sweden have been good.
Yeah.
Even though
I mean, to the
they're 2 wins.
standard, I mean, I don't remember, but I think in the prediction video, we didn't think that Sweden were going to do good.
Yeah, I don't think we did either. I think we probably predicted them third. If I remember correctly, I mean,
Might
with
have
just
even predicted
knowing
them
us,
last.
I think we probably predicted Slovakia to win the group, Spain to get second, Sweden to get third, and Poland to get last.
uh,
But Sweden have performed well. They haven't
yeah.
lost a game in the Euros, even though their 2 wins were only just both 1-0 wins.
Hmm.
They were able to get a point from Spain with only
Grind
15%
out. I was going to
possession.
say grind out after that
Grind out of not
15%
just get
possession.
grind out a point from Spain. Defensively, good
Hmm.
performance, but they haven't lost a game. Neither Spain, but they were poor, in that
Yeah.
group. But compared to Ukraine, Sweden definitely the stronger team. They've wanted it more
100%.
and better overall, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They haven't faced the toughest of competition, but
Mhm.
I think for a country like Sweden to be in this position, I would definitely rate them up there.
Yeah. And I think that if they play the way that they've been playing against these other teams in their group, that they should be able to go by Ukraine. But then again, it's the Euros and anything can happen. Um, Now looking at the last game, we have England versus Germany. It's gonna be a great game. Obviously, it was known beforehand because all the draws were made that if England were to win the group, that they would get the runners up of the group of death. So England is now going to be playing against Germany. Germany, who's just I don't get them. I guess is the
Yeah,
best way to say
yeah, they're a
because
confusing team now.
they they weren't poor, but they didn't look good against France and lost 1-0. Then they
Yeah,
looked amazing versus Portugal and destroyed them 4-2. And then again looked bland against Hungary and tied 2-2 and were able to salvage right at the end to go to second place when they were minutes away from getting eliminated from the tournament.
right.
So I don't know where Germany really stands. But then if you also look at England, they haven't played great at all. They scraped
Right.
a 1-0 win versus Croatia and didn't really look that great. Sterling scored, and that's all happened that game. They didn't look good. Then they tied versus Scotland, a game that they should have won. And
Yes.
then after that, in the last game, who they Czech Republic?
Czech Republic. Yeah.
Czech Republic won 1-0, but then again, didn't look great. So England hasn't looked great in any game, while Germany did look really good in one game. But then again, England got more results than Germany. So it'll be an interesting game to see. I'm slightly leaning towards England. It might be biased because I just really like because we cover
Yeah.
English soccer, but I'll just give us I don't this is another game which I think could go in either direction, but I'll give a slight edge to England.
Yeah. This one could definitely go either way. And Germany have been inconsistent. It looked like sometimes they have good chemistry together and they have
Hmm.
been playing well together, and then sometimes like against Hungary, it
Yeah,
just wasn't it.
just didn't look good.
And they never played bad per se, but for Germany standards, and if you're playing England,
Hmm.
if you put Germany up against any of the not the not the super teams,
Yeah.
and in this level in the tournament, in the round of 16 here, I'd say they'd win. But England, while they've only scored twice, they haven't let up a goal, to be fair, even though they
Hmm.
haven't played the toughest of
Which is great.
opposition. Yeah, no, that is great either way, because all the teams that got into the Euros, there was no team that wasn't a threat.
Hmm.
Even though some teams underperformed, didn't play well per se, there was no game where it couldn't have gone either way
I
where
think
they were
that's fair
playing.
to say. Yeah.
So to not let up any goals and defensive to be that solid defensively is incredible. Now going forward, they have chances.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it looks like they're trying to do too much. If they would play a
100%.
little, they just got to play.
I think they play scared.
They do play
Scared
scared.
to make
If they
mistakes.
if they are scared to make mistakes, that's exactly what it looks like, and I think that's because there's so much competition within the squad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at it, I mean, you could take out the starting 11 of England and put in a new one, and it would still be a very respectable starting 11
Yeah.
because there's always players. But either way, no matter how
Especially
strong they,
attacking with the
attacking,
option. So like think about like the first game of the Euros that they start. It's not 3 attacking midfielders because they play with the 2 holding mids. So it's the 3 attacking midfielders. It started off with Sterling, Mount, and Foden. And in that scenario, you had Rashford, Grealish, and Saka and Sancho on the bench.
on the bench.
So to think of the 7 options that you have for those 3 positions, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the players. And I don't know. I don't want to make excuses either for England because they definitely should have performed better. And I don't know if that's a matter of the way the team is being set up or the coach or whatever it is, but England need to do better. And I think if they don't come in with the right mentality, they will lose to Germany.
They just have to stop playing scared. If they play strong, if this England team plays strong, they're probably one of the best teams in this tournament.
Yes, they should easily, if they put not easily, but if they play to their best ability, they should beat Germany and then beat whoever it is that they play in the next round.
Yeah, totally.
Sweden
It
or
would be
Ukraine.
right.
Yeah.
And then
So
probably Netherlands after that.
yeah, so that's
So
what I'm saying. They should play to their best of ability, and if they do, then I think they'll win this game against Germany. But if
yeah,
not,
that's all
then
it is.
I can go either way. But yeah,
That's what
that
it comes
pretty
down to.
much wraps up the round of 16 games. We wanted to do a prediction on this to also wrap up the group stage as well. For anyone who's interested in also Copa America video, we're gonna have one come out later in the week. It's gonna be once the last group stage games are played and the quarterfinal matchups are confirmed, and then we'll do a little prediction just like this. We'll also have another Euro video out on probably Wednesday after these round of 16 games are done. We'll recap them while also predicting the quarterfinals. So make sure to check out those 2 videos when they come out. Once again, I want to say thank you to anyone who's shown support on the channel, and we'll see you guys soon.